I am outside of Gatlinburg, over the mountain, crossed into North Carolina in the town of Cherokee. Behind me is the Oconaluftee Visitor Center here in the National Park. So although Gatlinburg has a lot to offer with the views and all of the shopping and the wonderful foods, if you take about 30 miles and cross into Cherokee, it takes about an hour traveling around the mountain. Beautiful, spectacular views that you can see here. Some of my favorite, and it's often pretty quiet, so if Gatlinburg's a little busy, it's a great option to come into Cherokee. I personally prefer to come here early in the morning because you really get the smoky effect from the mountains. Oconaluftee means by the river in Cherokee, which in Cherokee the river goes all throughout. Now, I have never done the trail here, so I'm taking you along for the first time, so we're gonna go together. I see that there is a Mountain Farm Museum and the Oconaluftee River Trail, so we're gonna explore that today. Let's go. Now, I've driven through Cherokee quite a bit. We like to come out here just to kind of enjoy the elk and enjoy the scenery. Beautiful, it's quiet, and it's just a hidden gem. Still got it? Yeah. This stream is so beautiful. I always said that a dream of mine would be to have a creek behind my backyard or a river like this. It is so beautiful. Just the sound alone would put me to sleep at night. Okay, let's get moving. It is beautiful here today. There's a nice breeze. It's not too warm. And so Cherokee is in a valley. All around you are surrounded by mountains. So you really get that beautiful, picturesque views here. Looks like we're coming up to Mountain Farm Museum here. Oh, doesn't it look like something that is in a magazine, or I feel like I could frame that. It is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Walking into this farm museum, looks like that it is still operating with these little chickens. Look at these guys. Another thing I've always wanted are chickens. I think they would be so great to have your own chickens, a little mini farm, and have your own eggs. Oh, look at these guys. They're beautiful. Let's see if we can get a little peek inside of how this farm used to be like. There's a little baby piano there, and a water canister, and I see a small bed and a fireplace and a little sewing machine in there. Can't walk in, they do have it closed off, but you can kind of get a little peek inside and see how it used to be. Wrapping around here, I see some firewood, which, oh, I hear the roosters. Let's take a look at what this is right here, this little shed. It's an ash hopper. So ash hoppers were used to produce lye for soap. So the ashes from the stoves were, the stoves and the fireplaces were stored in one of these things right here, this ash hopper, and until the family that lived on the property, such as this, they were ready to make a run of lye. So then water poured through the ashes, leached out the alkali in the ashes, and the liquid collected was the lye. Hardwood ashes made the strongest type of lye for soap. So an interesting thing too is one way to test the strength of lye was to place an egg or a potato in the liquid. If they floated in the middle of the lye, considered strong enough to make soap, because obviously you want it to be strong enough to be able to process and make soap for use. Many families began using commercially produced lye later in the years because, as you can imagine, this was quite a process and it took a lot of time and effort. So, as is, technology grows and expands, whew, these little bugs around me, the need for more of trade and skills like this dissipated. We started buying our soaps, unfortunately, in our stores. But it's always fun to imagine how life was, things that we take for granted today, how they were processed and how they were made. So on the back of the farmhouse here, let's take a peek on this side. Oh, I see a little chicken in there. Oh my goodness, look at this little hen in the fireplace. Looks like she found a cozy spot. And these chickens just run all around the property. I'd say they have a pretty good life. And this right here, by the looks of the sign here, was the family meat house. And at a time that there was no refrigeration, it was very valuable to preserve meat, which often was the most valuable product. And the way that it was preserved was through salt. Without refrigeration, the most common way to preserve your meats was through salting and smoking. So the meats would be processed through smoking and salting them, and they would be preserved in a facility like this. So it takes me back to my college days, which was many years ago. I have a degree in history. So history for me, especially early American history, is something that always drew me. And this is the kind of stuff that I loved, life in the very early days. So let's explore ahead a little bit more. Looks like we got some water here on the path. I did not wear some waterproof shoes today, so I'm gonna tiptoe around and go to the side. Oh my goodness. I think it is a true blessing to be able to live on a farm like this, where your animals graze and roam on their free will. It's just so beautiful. And this must be one of the chicken coops they have in here. Let's see if we can peek in there. That is. Looks nice. It looks nice and clean too. This area is fenced off. They're growing, I'm not sure what kind of crops those are. The leaves look as big as pumpkins, but I'm sure I'm wrong there. Over here, they have some more fencing. Looking in here, I see some barrels of apples. So this probably was the apple house. Often for preservation, thick clay, earth clay, and stone were used to build these houses. And that would help keep it nice and cold and fresh, because apples were one of the staples at the time and used for many different purposes, not only eating them raw, but cooking, making ciders, pies, etc. It's amazing how we take so many things for granted, like a fridge, and things like, building a structure like that behind me to preserve apples and your fruits and your produce, and how much work goes into it. It's just really, I think, for me, causes you to appreciate a little bit more of what we have today. And crossing over to the left, this looks like a mill of sort. Let's take a look and see if we can peek inside. So this looks like it was a sorghum mill and a furnace from the soot and the ashes we see there. This is what's called a corn crib, and where all of the corn for the family would be stored. And corn was another very valuable product, because it not only fed humans, but it also fed livestock. So it was very important to house this properly, and these sheds were built for that purpose. Let's go underneath this structure. This is a gear shed, I think that says. Yeah, a corn crib. Okay, so it's another corn crib and a gear shed. Let's peek in here, see what we can find. Oh my goodness. So just another shed, another corn crib, which housed all the corn and the gears used to grind and mill and anything that you would need. Hi. So in this barn, they have various little coops. They are too small for horses. I'm not sure what type of livestock they would have kept in here. Take a look over here. So they have some tools and some livestock equipment in there. But yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe pigs they could have kept in here. I'm not going to guess because I did not grow up on a farm. But you can tell it housed some kind of livestock. So the barn is 2 floors, and the top usually housed things like hay and just extra storage type of items. I see a chair over there and lots of logs down here. I love finding places to explore like this, especially being new to the area. I love being able to explore and take you guys along on my first time. So this was a fun little discovery. I see back here they have some animals and I could hear them earlier. Let's see if we can see them. So I believe that they have pigs here. Ooh. It says right there, although the pigs are cute, they may bite. Please do not touch or feed the livestock. So look at them in there. Oh my goodness. Let's see if I can get closer. They are big. Looks like they're snoozing right now. They have a pretty big pig pen here, and their house is pretty good size. And behind the farm, there is this river that I showed you guys earlier. It just wraps around all the way in the back. It's so pretty. It's always just such a source of life to live by a river like this during the time, because you could get all of your water here for cooking and washing and everything you would need. Water is an incredible source of life and wealth. How pretty this is. So there are a couple different trails here that you can take. I'm learning, but I'm not going to do them today, primarily because I did not wear tennis shoes, and this was just kind of a last minute discovery that I found. Ooh, those pigs scared me. I can hear him. Very soon, this is going to start turning golden shades of colors. With fall approaching here, it will be pretty to look at. Back on the trail, and this is a very, very mild trail. There's really no incline, so very doable if you're looking for something that's kind of an easy trail path. This would be a good one, and a lot to see. And I was wondering if we would see the blacksmith shop here on the property. This one right here, it is not original to this property. It actually was moved from Cades Cove, and often blacksmith shops are going to be either near a mill or by a body of water. So kind of neat that this was moved in from Cades Cove. Let's take another look at this beautiful view surrounding this property. I would love to just be able to walk this property on a daily basis and just clear my mind and take the breeze in and the nature in and the sounds. And looks like this is the spring house, and it's a small structure, and spring houses were used to filter water for the family that lived on the property, so made it into drinkable water. And the way that worked is that the water from the stream would flow into the spring house through the rocks, which are behind over there, I believe, and they would filter it, and it would allow it to pour through and make it clean and filtered enough for the family to drink. And there's no shortage of water here with this river just pouring through. Again, it is the wealth of this property to be able to live by water like this. It is the source of life for everything on your property. To the left is a little mini orchard. Oh yes, that's from the other side, but we walked around where the apple orchard would have been. So that's where that would be. Just another angle of it. So we made a big circle. Here we are back out as we are leaving the farm. I'm always so grateful to see structures preserved like this, and it's just such a wonderful thing to have, I think, for future generations to be able to just see how life was, because with how time is going by so quickly, it's nice to be able to take a look back and see how it was when it was more simpler. This is a really cool looking tree. Look at the shape of that. It's got a large trunk. I don't know much about the age of trees, but I believe the wider the trunk, that shows the age of how old the tree is, in which case, if that's true, this is a pretty old tree. I wanted to get a little bit closer to the trunk of this tree. I just talked to a gentleman here that said that this tree is thousands of years old. So we're not doing the Oconaluftee River Trail, but I wanted to show this and highlight this in the video because often it is remarked that Sugarland's trail in Gatlinburg is the only trail that you can take your pets on. However, on the Oconaluftee River Trail, you can take your pets, which this trail starts right here to the right of the family farm. And as you can see, there's a little pup right there. So if you're traveling with your pets and you want to do some hiking and you want to do some trails, you can absolutely do the Oconaluftee in addition to the Sugarlands one in Gatlinburg, because pets are welcome. However, just to clarify, the farm that we just did earlier, your pets are not allowed on the farm for obvious reasons. There's still some livestock there, and they want to maintain the integrity of the farm itself. The Oconaluftee River Trail is 1.5 miles each way, so 3 miles round trip. And from looking at it and reading a little bit about it here, it's pretty mild grade, very gentle grade, short ups and downs, so it's nothing extreme. Also, bikes are allowed on that trail, so you can bring your bike as well. And you can see the dogs are coming in for their walk of the day. So the entrance is the Oconaluftee Visitor Center, which I wanted to go inside and show you. I have not been in yet, so let's go in together. Let's go ahead inside and see what the visitor center is like. So they have a nice gift shop here with various books about the national park and different plushies, like this guy right here. You got your hiking sticks and your stickers. I know a lot of people like to collect those from the trails. And they have a little museum here that talks about all of the different resources and how the preservation is here on the property. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park was officially dedicated by Roosevelt, President Roosevelt, in 1940, and everyone gathered at the memorial in Newfound Gap. Here's the chair that he used to sit on when he gave his official dedication for the park. If you love history like I do, the Visitor Center museum in here, which I am in right now, is a real gem. You can really take a look at a lot of the different types of appliances, tools that were used here on the farm, and just really kind of take a step back in time. Inside the gift shop, they have this nice poster map of the Appalachian Trail. So it shows it starts all the way up there in Maine and goes all the way down into Georgia. At the front of the visitor center, they have this map that shows all the topography of the region and the national park, and get a feel of the elevations in the area. So here, right here, I see Klingman's Dome, where we were just last weekend. In the center, you see the entire Great Smoky Mountains and the topography of the entire region. And we found Dan Payne, Ranger Dan Payne. This is truly a beautiful visitor center and a lot to see here. The gift shop is wonderful. A little busy, so I don't want to go in there too much to show you, but it really was nice. It was small, but it had a little bit of everything that you would want to take home from the national park. And behind the visitor center, there is this large terrace. All of these benches here that you can sit at and take it in. Some rocking, ooh, I almost fell back. Some rocking chairs. When we initially came was earlier in the morning, so it wasn't as busy, but you can tell it gets busier and people start coming in. So I did talk to one of the rangers inside and asked about the use of the farm. And in fact, it is still used as I had assumed because of all the life that we saw there with the chickens. Nothing is wasted. So all of the eggs are used. The rangers maintain it and take care of it. The pigs, they did say, are slaughtered and they are used for food at the appropriate time. So yeah, everything is still in operation. To the left of the visitor center are the restrooms and a few vending machines. And that'll do it today from the Oconaluftee Visitor Center here in Cherokee, North Carolina. Thank you so much, guys, for coming along and a little exploration. I loved exploring with you, and I appreciate you all for watching. And if you have not already, please do consider subscribing for more vlogs in the wonderful, beautiful Great Smoky Mountains. And remember, it is not the same without you.